Let's talk about a tiny little console with a funny name, the Wii. Who had a Wii at launch? Anybody? Yeah. Okay, all of us bought one because it cost 69 cents at retail.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
You could buy like 2.5 Wiis for the cost of one PS3 at launch.
Yeah, it launched at $250 US, $250 US. And
if you could find one.
If
Yes,
you
exactly.
could find one.
That
Yeah,
was the
tell us
thing.
about that, Tal.
So I remember we waited in line at our local Target, and it actually ended up pretty well because they had a whole ticket system. It wasn't, a lottery. We didn't have to wait until 8 in the morning. It was first come, first serve. You got your ticket, and they were like, "We're gonna get this many units. Here's tickets in case people don't show up. You're gonna be in kind of the second round." Was right there in the first round, then showed up the next morning, got mine pretty easily. But I tell you what, once they were gone, they were really hard to find for several weeks afterwards.
Oh yeah, I worked
But
at.
more than that, even.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
it just
for a long
kept.
time.
it
Still
just
through the
kept-
holiday season, really, yeah.
Yeah, I got up on Christmas morning, and my wife had 2 little packages under the tree. One was a copy of Twilight Princess. The other was a Wii remote. And she's like, so I couldn't get the Wii. So enjoy staring at these until you find one. And thus began the great Wii quest, which ended on the Target loading dock. And
And a crowbar? Is that?
no, that's not But I obtained my Wii and brought it home and plugged Twilight Princess in and was pretty much gone from reality for about a week after. Love that game.
Yeah, my big thing with I was a manager at GameStop at the time.
Oh.
Yeah, and I
It's
was.
been a fun period for you.
It was crazy because my sister, who I grew up. I have an older sister. She's 9 years older than me. I grew up and once she had kids, she was like, no kids, don't go into the room while Uncle Vincent's playing those evil video games. That's the way it was for the longest time. And then when the Wii came out, my sister was like, hey, how can you get me one of these Wii thingies? And I was like, what? You want your children to have video games, Nicole?
Well, that's why you couldn't find the things.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted one because there's never been anything like it. Nintendo excels at making interesting technology affordable, at least most of the time. Current generation possibly aside. They found ways to do really interesting things with technology and make it just within the reach of most people who want to have it. And the Wii was a perfect embodiment of that.
So, I just want to jump in on this because I've been playing video games since the Atari 2600 days.
Yeah.
As have I.
Had consoles in the house, right, the entire time. Had PCs, big gamer the entire time. The Wii was the first time my mom ever said to me, hey, tell me about that console. Should I get that console?
Yep.
Turned out she was like, I can play Wii Sports whenever a friend's house, that was fun, but I can watch movies on it too, right? And when I told her that wasn't a possibility, that was the deal breaker for her. But I was surprised she actually knew what a console was and kind of was interested in
Well,
one.
it sort
First
of
time in
did
my
the
life.
unthinkable in creating a video game system that was accessible to everyone, and you could just go out and buy a Wii, get Wii Sports on it. You wouldn't have to buy any other launch game, and you would have something that was endless entertainment. Like, I remember I was in college, and we had our rec room, and you could play table tennis and all that stuff, and they had Wiis set up there with Wii Sports that you would just come and play that. And so I remember doing that. I got there and took over those, and everyone was like doing all this other stuff, and who are these nerds playing video games? But you totally could, and they fit well next to each other.
I think that's the thing. As an outside observer, right, you instantly understand these kinds of motions.
Yeah.
But when you see somebody doing this and you're not a gamer, you don't really get it, right? So the Wii really did have that instant recognition of what's going on.
And that's why you found it in rec rooms, and you found it in nursing homes, and you found it in churches, and you found it in cafes, and you found it at parties. And the first time I ever played with one, some friends that got one in November at launch brought a projector over from the school where she worked at and hooked it up in our living room, shot it up on the wall, and we're all 4 of us in our living room playing tennis, looking like idiots, flailing around like morons, and having the time of our lives. And
given that it wasn't an HD system, it probably didn't look that great
but at the time,
on the projector either.
again,
But
we're used to HD now, but HD televisions had not really.
The transition was almost complete, but
Right.
it wasn't
Yeah.
quite complete.
They weren't everywhere, and so that was
Yeah.
less of a big deal, especially when the thing launched. As the generation went on, that became a big deal. But I was just like, it's so happy, and a lot of that had to do with Wii Sports.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, for me, I was just happy that I could, because of the virtual console, I could play Musha on something other than my Sega Genesis.
Okay, yeah,
That's all that mattered to
we
me.
have to talk about Virtual Console for a second because
Yeah.
that was a new thing too. Tell us about Virtual Console, Vince, and what it was.
So it was basically a multi-emulation platform that was fully licensed and legal and normal. So, and it allowed games from the Sega Genesis, from all eras of the Nintendo development, from the TurboGrafx-16, another system that I love, that especially those kinds of games were very difficult to play in any legal fashion.
Yeah.
And it gave people a way to play some honestly great, wonderful like 8 and 16-bit games that were kind of lost to time if you didn't still have those consoles and couldn't readily hook them up. It just gave a whole new audience a chance to experience them.
And the quality of the emulation on Virtual Console was superb. That's the real
Yeah.
reason I bought a Wii as kind of a hardcore gamer, was because it actually had modes built into the hardware that supported native resolutions
Right.
for the consoles it was emulating. There was no better way to emulate certain systems than the Wii Virtual Console. This day, there's arguably no better way for some of them.
And it was great because it gave people not only were those games, some of those games lost to time because of the platform they were on. Some of them were just legitimately very, very rare or rare games or games that never came to the States, like Alien Soldier, by Treasure,
Or Dracula X, Rondo of Blood. Yeah, I think so.
right, stuff
Yeah.
like that people just couldn't experience over here, and they had an opportunity to do it through that.
Final thing with Wii here, in addition to the accessibility, in addition to the low price point, in addition to Virtual Console and all these other things we've discussed, it also had a really great launch lineup. We talked about Wii Sports earlier. I mean, anybody could understand it. What was your favorite Wii Sports game out of the 5?
I think bowling
Golf.
was the
Golf, bowling?
Tennis was mine.
Golf,
So,
bowling,
wow.
tennis,
So we
three
have-
across the panel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody had a favorite or a couple of favorites. Anybody could pick it up and do it. But in addition to Wii Sports, it also launched with Excite Truck, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Super Monkey Ball, Super Swing Golf, which is actually a lot of fun, Twilight Princess, which was huge, Trauma Center, WarioWare Smooth Moves, which is still one of my favorite Wii games, and Rayman's Raven Rabbits, which allowed you to throw a cow over your head. And while that doesn't sound impressive, when you look at any one, you put those together, that might be the best launch lineup in American history.
especially since Super Monkey Ball was that what a hidden gem
Yeah,
that was.
I love that game.
That spawned that's one of the few like sleeper launch titles. Like normally if you played that game at the time, you'd be like, this is a game that's gonna be good at launch.
Yeah.
But 6 months or a year from now, no one's gonna know what this is. Nope. They made many, many, many Super Monkey Balls. They made spin-offs on other platforms because the mechanics were just that good.
But let's be honest too. The Wii became the Wii Sports machine. I mean,
Yeah.
that's eventually what it became in the house. That was the thing that you would boot up to play Wii Sports on.
Well,
I mean, the
for some.
nunchuck and the controller worked so well alongside it. Like, it was a completely new set of mechanics that you had to learn how to use, and it was so intuitive with Wii Sports that it made it really fun to play that way.
Yeah, I'm a Wii apologist. I love that thing. I'll argue the way. Well, so
How many TVs were broken because of that console?
Mine was. This is what happens when you invite your youth group from the church over to play with.
Always wear the strap, Jared.
Our brand
Always
new,
wear the
brand new
strap.
HD TV. Got a hole in it.
Oh,
Yep.
man.